let's get ready together for the Starfall Ball. It's the time of the year where we get to participate in Romantasyathon, which is created by Tori Between Pages. I'm very excited for this theme this year. We got an invitation and we have to get ready for a ball together. We have all these options that we have to make decisions for, and that will change our experience at this ball. First things first, I have a regret to fix when I go to this ball, because in grade 12 when I went to my graduation, I was between two dresses. I had a red dress and a black dress, and I ended up going with the red dress even though I hate the color red, and I regret it to this day. Why did I not pick the black dress? I think I just thought it would be weird. Like, people were gonna be like, oh, it's weird she's wearing black, because in my brain black was funeral, but I love the color black. Only prompt I know going in is that I have to read a black cover for the what to wear prompt because I want to wear a black dress. I need to right my wrongs. So for that one, I'm picking up Zodiac Academy 3. This is a sequel of a series that I have been enjoying. This is such a fun time read for me. I am 10 chapters in currently, so I'm not super far in because it's a chunky boy, but these books are so easy to read. They're so bingeable for me. I truly just like can't put them down. I really like the characters in them. I love what's going on, and I do like the world that's being set up as well, that I know I'm just gonna fly through this one. It's gonna be a very easy book for me to get to because I have some hefty reading plans for this week, so I need these books that I'm going to be like going quickly. Like, I'm winning the reading marathon with this book. In the first Zodiac Academy, we learn that our two main characters are the long lost heirs to the Solaria throne, and they are offered their inheritance, which is a lot of money, which they really need because they're broke, but also the chance to rule the kingdom. But in order to get either of those things, they have to graduate from Zodiac Academy. When they get to Zodiac Academy, because of course they take the deal, there are these men who have been trained their entire lives to be the next heirs because we thought those two were goners, and they don't want to give up the seat of power, so they try to bully the girls into leaving, but more seems to happen since it is a romantasy series. I don't know what it is. I personally think I like a bully romance, so I don't mind them picking on each other. I think the chemistry between all of them is really real, and I am obsessed with the men. Like, the dragon shifter, I love him so much. Every scene with him, I'm like, yes. But also Orion, I love Orion. Like, from the very first book, I was like, this is not good for me because he's technically a teacher, and I've never been someone to root for this. Even back in the day when I watched Pretty Little Liars, I hated Arya just because of her relationship with the teacher. But I can't stop thinking about Orion at all. Like, I'm shipping them so hard. So there's that. There's that. My morals are in question with this book, but everything's okay because I get to go to the ball in a black dress. Maybe I'm actually going to my funeral. Who knows? I'm gonna continue reading that one, but I actually am reading a second book as well. I'm reading Twilight of Embers. It's so weird for me to read 2 books at a time. I'm typically a 1-book pony. Why did I say that? But I'm reading Twilight of Embers, which is a dragon shifter story. It's a Why Choose about a girl who gets a scholarship to a university for pre-med, and when she's there, she bites off more than she can chew with these 5 men who seem to be obsessed with her. I think there's 5 of them. There might be 4. I think there actually is 4. I am buddy reading this with Emmy, so I'm probably gonna finish it before Zodiac Academy because we're doing a 3-day buddy read, so we're reading about 80 pages a day of it. So I'll finish it tomorrow if all plans go according to how they're supposed to go. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I feel like it's very insta-lovey. From the second she walked in, these men are obsessed with her. They're trying to protect her. They think she's, oh my god, she's amazing, she's incredible. And they say why, like she's their mate, and they know it from like the second they lock eyes on her. But I prefer when my stories, even when they have a mate bond, show the chemistry. They show that it isn't just insta love. Like, I like when you can be mates but maybe not be absolutely in love with each other. Like, I like that storyline of them still having to find pieces of each other that connect. So the insta love is not working for me as well as I wanted it to, but I'm still intrigued, and it's so short, I'm gonna give it a full book, I think. The other thing is, one of the first scenes we see, she meets this guy, and then the next day, so it's like the second scene, she meets the guy again. It's their second day talking, and he's growling at people because they're talking to her. Like, a man comes to talk to her, and he's like, "Arr." That's a red flag. If that was me, and a man growled at another man just for talking to me, the second time I've ever even talked to that one man, call me Forrest Gump. I'll be running. I'll be the next track star. Run, Cassidy, run is what you're all gonna be cheering, because that's such a red flag. And I think that's why, like, things like that, where it's just like, that doesn't make sense to me. I want my characters to truly fall in love still on paper for me. So the insta love is really holding me back currently, but I'm hopeful that as it continues, I'm just gonna be vibes. I don't know what prompt this is for. Don't ask me until I'm done because I don't want to make a decision yet. Coffee is very much needed this morning. I have some things to say. Oops. I finished this. I struggled through the first 60% of this quite a bit. Like, I was struggling. And then all of a sudden, I couldn't stop. I don't know what it was, but I'm already done book 2. Literally, last night I stayed up and I read 2 books. This book, the second book. I started the 3rd book. This is one of those things where I need to clarify that I liked this. I didn't say it was good. Because in my mind, there was a lot of times where I literally went, why am I reading this? This isn't good. But I was obsessed. And I'm still obsessed. I'm still thinking about how the conclusion is going to happen. I think that plot-wise, character-wise, story-wise, writing-wise, this was a 2-star. But the fact that I got so obsessed that I binged it makes it a 3-star for me. I'm giving both books 1 and 2 3 stars. This is just an easy read. Early 2000s paranormal. It's just giving something that's fun and vibey, and it's not substance. Like, typically the romantasy I love and scream out on this channel, I feel like has good plot, good world building. It's got depth of character. It's really, really well developed. This is not that. I still liked this. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying you liked this. But like, in my personal opinion, my personal review of this is that like, if you're going in wanting those things, you're not getting that out of this. And I think it just took my brain 60% to like really switch that off and just vibe. And I still wasn't like obsessed. Like, I'm still not giving it 5 stars the way like Zodiac Academy gives me 5 stars. Although Zodiac Academy still has like depth and character and stuff, and I feel like this is very surface level fun. But yeah, I'm starting book 3 now. So I don't know what that says about me, but I need coffee because I stayed up too late reading. For Twilight of Embers for romantasyathon, I've decided I'm going to use this for fated mates. I think that just works really well. So the trope with me and hopefully one of my dates, I'm hoping that I can read for multiple dates, will be fated mates. And I think for my second book in the series, I'm going to use that for Rec from a Friend because Claire was screaming about this book to me and how I should read it, and she's the entire reason I picked this series up, so I feel like it just fits perfectly for her. Which literally Tori just posted what these are about. The weapon that I took to the ball, which is what I used book 2 for, gets me found family. You've all trained together extensively to become Valkyrie warriors. I love good found family. I love strong friendship bonds. I have some really good friends. So I think that that fits really, really well. And because it was a Why Choose book that got me that prompt, I'm excited that I'm going to have some friends with me at the ball. I am roughly 40% into the 3rd book in the Twilight of Ember series. I don't know the title, but the cover will be on the screen. I do think that this one starts off my favorite. I feel like we really dive into the action. I'm really interested in where the story goes. I feel like we're finally getting plot. However, these books read like one book. I can't imagine not binging them. Like, truly, if I had read book 1 and then hadn't gone straight into book 2, I was never getting to book 2. Like, it ends on a cliffhanger, so I really wanted to pick up book 2, but it doesn't end in a way that like I would be thinking about picking up book 2 for the next like 2 months for me. They just read like one entire story split into 3 parts. It could have been one story in my opinion. It could have been one book. I do think where we are at currently in the story, it's hit another lull. I do think all of these books hit a decent lull in the middle and then they end on a big cliffhanger, but obviously with this being the final book, I don't think it can end on a cliffhanger. There's a character right now that I'm really interested in, and I was like almost wondering if they have a spin-off about them because it feels like it's setting it up for that, but when I looked into it, I don't think there is, and that kind of makes me sad. I'm intrigued to know how this ends. I'm still enjoying it. I'm still wanting to read. I just think it's very bingeable. It's not like my next new favorite thing, but it was like a good easy palate cleanser for me. Very brain empty, very much just along for the ride, and I liked it enough. Also, in some ways it reminds me of the Bonds That Tie series mixed with Zodiac Academy. I think it's like the setting of Zodiac Academy only though, because like there's no bully romance in this, but the thing about their dragons really reminds me of the Bonds in the Bonds That Tie series. I wish we got to see more of the dragons though. I wish we got to see more of the fantasy. It kind of just reads like a mafia book, but there are also dragons, but we don't see the dragons very often. I wish we saw the dragons more. Anyways, I'm gonna finish this. I'm gonna update you right at the end. I don't have a lot of thoughts on these. They're so brain empty for me. I'm just reading to read. So yeah, I'll see you then. I finished the 3rd book and I'm gonna use this one as my first who to bring because I think at the rate I'm reading currently, I'll be able to bring more than one person and live my Why Choose dreams. So I think I'm gonna use this one as a sequel book, and I'm going to be bringing this man. He's gonna be my date. This is the person Tori shared us, and as chosen earlier, we will be be fated love. That will be our trope together. So that's exciting. But this third book, I don't know what I just read. Honestly, nothing happened in this series. Literally not a single thing. I don't even know if I should rate these books because I simultaneously hated them and could not put them down. Like, I don't think they were good, but I had to know what happened, and then I read them and I just feel like nothing happened, and why did I read them? So I truly don't know how I feel about these at all. And that's how I felt about this final book. Also, this final book was so repetitive. I just kept waiting for more things to happen, but I was like, why didn't this happen last book? I don't know. This all should have been one book, but it was also so addicting, and I did find out that the girl I was interested in does have a sequel series. However, I don't think I should read it. I think that if I read it, I'll binge it all because there's something so bingeable about this writing style that like I just want to know what happens. But I also feel like I'll feel the way I felt about this, where like the characters all ran the same. They all still had the same sexual preferences. They still acted the same way around her. Like there was very small differences between them until they mated with her, and then they were the same person. They were a simp, and I don't know. I wanted more from this story, and I saw so much potential, which is why it was so easily bingeable for me. But it didn't entirely work for me. This last book feels like a 2-star, but I think I'm gonna stick to giving the first 2 in the series 3 stars. And also I binged it within 24 hours. Like I literally think I read 3 books in 24 hours. I mean, they're only 250 pages each, but still, my brain hurts. I'm going off to watch The Voice now. I need to finish Zodiac Academy so that I can get my dress down. At this rate, I'm gonna show up naked to the ball, and I don't know if my dates would like that or not. So I need to get my dress down, and I think I need to get my background down, and then I can prioritize bringing a second date, which is fun. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. I don't really know what time it is at this point. And like, doesn't matter because like you're watching it at any time. I don't know. But I have been coloring a little bit. I've been waiting to do the little bubble technique, and so I'm finally doing it. I don't love it, but it is what it is at this point. I'm going to color again later. I have Vampire Diaries with my patrons again this week. We do it every week. I don't know where my brain is at. And so I'm going to watch 2 episodes with them, and then I'm going to come back and color, and I'm probably going to finish Zodiac Academy tonight while I color, but I'm about 60% in currently, so I figured I should give you an update. We're no bonesing it today. It's been very chill for me, which tomorrow I have so many more plans. I'm streaming with Tori. I have romantasyathon sprints. I need to do some video recording. There's a lot going on tomorrow, so today is chill. Zodiac Academy 3, I'm liking. I don't know, it feels like all the other books. I know so many people talk about how like the 3rd book, you gotta make it to the 3rd book. The 3rd book is where it gets good. This feels like the first 2 books. There's nothing different in this book for me. There's a little bit of romance, there's a little bit of bullying, and there's a little bit of plot. So like, I'm so confused when people say that. I personally love it. I'm eating it up, but I've loved it since book 1. So like, I don't know, like if you didn't like it at book 1, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to like keep reading. That's all I'm gonna say. If you're like me, you're probably just gonna vibe the entire time. That's it. That's my update for you. Orion though. Orion. That's all I gotta say. I finished Zodiac Academy 3 last night. I think this is my least favorite out of the 3 so far, which is interesting because everyone talks about how this is where it gets good. I still liked it. I'm still giving it 4 stars. I still flew through it. I still ate up every single interaction and loved my time reading it. But truly, I just expected the plot to do something. I expected us to get somewhere within the story. We've gotten such minor plot moments. I feel like we've really worked on character relationships, setting up Tori and Darcy and all of that, but I really need an overarching plot to like really start like progressing in this. But it is just addicting. Like there's something so addicting about the series and the characters in the world they've made where like I currently just want to drop everything and read book 4. Also, I may be a Darcy fan over a Tori fan at the end of this. I can't decide. I love Tori's spunk. I love her sass. However, there's something about her and another character that is just so repetitive to me. It's getting kind of annoying just watching her feelings flip-flop too much versus Darcy's feelings feel very smooth going. They feel like, yes, she might still be hurt by things, but like she doesn't just like flip at the like a nickel. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like something very repetitive about Tori and what's happening with her and one of the men, well, a couple of the men, versus Darcy's POV. Is that because Orion is working for me? Who knows? Because I am a simp for Professor Orion. Please give me detention, sir. Please, I'm begging you. Oh, yes. So there's that. Overall, I will definitely be recommending this. The sister bond in this really works for me. The fact that they will do everything to protect each other. They don't care what happens trusted them, but their friendship with a sister, I just think it's so incredible and it's done really, really well. I just wanted it to be progressed a little bit further in the storyline. That's it. I'm supposed to go and read the prequel now, which I've read book 1 of, but I don't know if I can after that ending. I don't know. I think I might read book 4 next and not go back to the prequel. I might just do the prequel whenever I burn out on Zodiac Academy. I don't know. Ask me later. So that was my black dress. I am officially righting my wrongs and I get to wear this dress. I'm actually kind of between two, so I'm gonna put them both on the screen. Let me know which one you think would look better on me. And I have started my next book, which is Iron and Embers by Helen Schuer, which I am not loving. I'm debating DNFing actually. I read the Legend Thesmar series and I love that series. I just think so much of what's happening in Iron and Embers is set up within the Legend of Thesmar series. We've seen these two connect. We saw their relationship kind of start to form in Legend of Thesmar. I think it's very clear about that when reading the first, I think I'm 8 chapters in, and I'm really struggling because they're already in love at the start of this. And I complain all the time about how I really need to see the interactions on paper, and we didn't get those interactions on paper in Legends of Thesmar either, but we saw the relationship happen still. I don't know if this is gonna work for me because they're already in love at the start of this book and they're just not admitting their feelings. This is why enemies to lovers works so much better for me, is because I really need to see them fall in love. I want the banter. I want that, not what I'm getting here, which is just like mopey. I want them, but I can't have them. So I don't know. I'll keep you updated. I'm gonna switch to the audiobook and hope that helps because I was reading physically this morning. I'm about to go play on Twitch with Tori. That's how I'm gonna spend my morning. We are streaming. We've been talking about streaming for so long and we haven't yet, so I'm very excited for today.
Yup. Right. I will take a crucifix so I don't die. What else?
Cass, are you there? Can you say something?
Listen, I'm just was not expecting an accent.
Oh, right.
Cass is speechless.
Literally, I was just like, oh.
Oh, hello.
Well, hi everybody. Hi.
Oh my gosh, they knocked both the pictures off these walls.
They don't like artwork.
They said, no decorations in our house, thank you.
We have sprints going on in the background for romantasyathon. I'm having a great time. It's been so fun. I forgot how much I love public sprints. I haven't done them in so long, and just like, it's a chaotic energy on public sprints, and just having everyone engage and talk is just so much fun. I'm also working on my genre blanket, which after 3 froggings, like I undid this 3 times and started over, I finally am liking it, which is crazy because all it took was me rearranging which color represented what, so a majority would change. And I think that it's personally turning out really good, and it's going to be a very good colored blanket. They all like really flow together very well in my opinion. And I'm 30% into Iron and Embers, and this did grow on me. Didn't think that I was going to be a Torge Elderbrock girly. However, Helen Schuer has made me love every single man that she's ever written about, that I've read about. Like, she just has a way to make me become so obsessed with them, and I'm equally obsessed with Torge Elderbrock. There's a one horse scene that was just like impeccable. Helen Schuer knows how to do banter. I'm telling you this. Like, her banter is so good, and her chemistry I think is very good. Specifically in like the moments of them, they're not about to have sex. They're just thinking about it. They're just thinking about it, but they're not going to. I love those. The bodyguard trope is really working for me because like forced proximity, very close to each other. I'm personally having a great time with this. Very, very, very happy that I decided to read it and gave it more of a chance from this morning because I'm starting to like really vibe with it. Especially when we got to the school setting, I think it really started to find its footing. I found myself more invested into the characters and their journeys and everything like that. I love a good school setting though. Truly, I do. I do think that this book is heavily relying on The Legend of the Thesmar for setup. However, I can't say that you can't read it without. I would be very curious to hear opinions about people who did read it without reading Legends of the Thesmar, if they felt like they were missing the backstory and like the setup of their relationship. But I do think they are also doing that in this one, so I'm curious if it's just because I have that knowledge. I know what existed in that previous story. If I'm feeling like this story is lacking it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm gonna go back to reading. Honestly, it's so crazy to see like what I wear affects what this looks like. I just filmed my TBR for the next month and I was wearing like a cream color and this looked way less orange than it does now, but this blue really brings the warmth out. I finished Iron and Embers last night. This book was a big disappointment for me. I gave it 3 stars. Like, I still liked it enough that I plan on continuing. There's something about Helen Schuer's writing that just is really easy to read and really sticks with me, and I did love the banter between them. However, that's all I really ended up loving. I don't know if I just have residual feelings from Legend of the Thesmar, because when I read Shadow and Storms, my biggest complaint is that this series just had no stakes in it, and now I just don't believe that this next series will have stakes either. Like, I just don't believe that Helen Schuer is truly going to hurt me, and I think that that really did affect my enjoyment of this one. I didn't love it. I only cared about the banter. Like, I didn't think that the friendships were well developed at all. I think that this really was carried by the Legends of Thesmar series. I feel like you had to have read this to read and really know all the character interactions and character relationships, because we talk about a lot of things that happen in Legend of the Thesmar, like a lot of things. And like, we're friends with all these characters, but we are only friends with them because of Legends of Thesmar. So like, I don't truly know how I feel about this one. I wish that she just called it like a new series that you had to read this for. I just truly do. I don't see. My recommended reading is definitely to read the Legend of Thesmar series before you go into Iron and Embers. However, if you don't have any plans to read this, you could go into Iron and Embers. It will spoil the ending of this. It does spoil a lot of things in this series for you. But if you have no plans on reading Thesmar, you may as well just jump on in and try it and see if it works for you. Hopefully I'm just reading too much into it, having the prior knowledge. I do find that that's a thing that can happen. Because I know all these things, I feel like you're missing them. But if you were to read them without them, you might not feel that way. So I would be interested to hear some more opinions on it. But for me, this was a 3-star. It was just lackluster to me. I feel like it really was the same thing as Legend of Thesmar. Like, I feel like their setup of force proximity, their banter, their training together, all of that just really reminded me of Wilder and Althea too much, and I wanted it to be a little bit different, especially because I feel like Ren was a very different character than Althea, and Torge was a very different character than Wilder, and I feel like they kind of acted the same way in this one. So that kind of got me a little bit. I don't know. Didn't love it. We're moving on. This is going to be my next date. I've decided I don't have enough time to read for as many books as I want to read, considering it's Friday right now. So we are just going to be fated mates with all of the love interests I bring to the date, and I'm also going to ignore my background, and I'm just going to be a mystery. Who knows? Like, long lost heir trope. We're just going to figure out who I am later on in our relationship when I learned that I am not who I said I was. Like, mystery. I'm a mystery. At least I'm not naked, okay? I've got my clothing, I've got my weapon of choice, and I've got multiple dates happening. And that's all I really needed. Who needs to know about themselves? Amnesia trope in its finest, right? So for this one, it was a new release, so I will be bringing this man to the ball with me. We will also be fated to be together. Fated mates by choose is such a real thing, so it really works for me. And we're gonna be reading for another man, another person to bring with me. I picked up A Ship of Bones and Teeth, I think is what it's called, last night. I'm already like 20% in. I'm flying through this. I thought something was wrong with me. Literally, I've been reading books and I'm like, this isn't a 5-star. I'm not loving this. There's something wrong with me. I'm burnt out. Maybe I need to stop reading. I'm obsessed with this. Is so good. The writing is so beautiful. It's like lyrical and pretty without being overly wordy. I'm really much into the plot and the storyline, but also their interactions together. I like our characters quite a bit. I like that she sometimes can be meek, and I think that it's interesting to showcase the fact that she isn't always that way. The author's really showing us that that's a strength, and that meek does not make you weak, and knowing when to be stabby is a good thing. Survive at all costs. Survive at all costs. And if that means putting your head down and taking it, sometimes you gotta do that. And sometimes you throw a bucket of water at them. I lolled at that scene so much. That's it. I'm loving this. This is a pirate romantasy Little Mermaid retelling, except for Prince Eric is the bad guy, and I'm eating that up. So yeah, I'll tell you more about it. I'm about to order Chick-fil-A, get some spicy nuggies, and call it a day. I have not finished the book, but just wanted to update you because Nick and me are at the lake for a couple nights. So I don't actually know how much reading I'm gonna be getting because we have some friends coming out tonight and tomorrow. But hopefully I might just take Romantasyathon a little bit longer and finish this book, and this will be my like last book of Romantasyathon, and I'll just count it even though like the ball will be passed. This will be a man still that I take with me to the ball. That's all. We are on the last sprints for Romantasyathon. My friends that came out last night we ended up staying up pretty late, but then they had a hair appointment, so they went back into town to do that, and then they're coming out again afterwards, so we're gonna have some fun later. But right now I have time to read and get my last date in, hopefully. I'm also doing some coloring. I'm coloring this page, which I think is super cute. I'm doing the little heart effect where like there's a heart that's happening and everything within the heart is going to be in color, and then everything else is going to be grayscale. grayscale, and I hope it looks really cute. They're on a little ice cream date. And then I'm 50% into my book currently. I like it. I'm waiting for something more. I think that I needed the relationship to kind of build more, but I think at the point that I'm at now, we're about to really see them connect. But I have been liking how unique this feels. I think that we're about to get more depth than what I want, but we haven't really gotten there yet. But I think the story overall, like the concept of the story is so unique that I'm really liking that aspect. And it's such an easy listen and it's very like beautifully written. So I'm definitely very invested in that aspect. I'm invested in our female main character. I don't know if I'm invested in the relationship, but I'm invested in seeing her succeed. I still have not finished the book. Sorry if you hear Nick in the background. I'm just here to update you on my coloring page.
What?
I was just telling them that they could hear you. It bothers me when I hear things in the background of people's videos and I don't know what they are.
Okay, let me put this cheese in and then I'll stop moving.
No, you're fine. I was just letting them know that it's you.
That it's my fault and no one else's.
Exactly. But look at my page. I love the way this one turned out. I think it turned out so cute with the little heart and the grayscale. During a little date together. Yeah, so that's all. I'm still listening, still vibing. See you at the end. Before you watch this clip, editing Cassidy realizes that this is not a start of a series. Past Cassidy, who recorded this clip, said it was a standalone, but still didn't realize it was not the first in a series. Ignore her. We're just going to the ball regardless. I just fooled the man into thinking that he was my date. That's all. Hello, I finished our book. I finished the last book I had to read for Romantasyathon, which means my ball adventure is complete. I read A Ship of Bones and Teeth for, of course, another date. I needed to bring a third date. Two was not enough for me. I think with this one, we got myself a masked man. And I ended up giving this book 3 stars. I really liked the setup quite a bit. I actually think the story feels very unique. It is a Little Mermaid retelling. Like, fully you see those threads. Everyone will make fun of me for not knowing that Bonded by Thorns was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but I was not very... I didn't watch Beauty and the Beast very often. However, I know the Little Mermaid story, and this is very much a Little Mermaid retelling. But in terms of things I'm reading for fantasy romance, for romantasy, I thought it was unique. I thought it had enough spins on the Little Mermaid story that made it fun and still familiar, but something different. So I did really enjoy that aspect of it. I liked the story enough. I'll read more from this author. If she wrote another book in this like world itself, I would 100% read it. I think that for me, what the ending was missing was the like funny, goofy time. I feel like the beginning we had like a lot of banter and like I was really liking those moments and I liked our main character quite a bit. But as the story went on, I feel like as they got together, they lost those interactions and I just felt like I was having less fun with the book, and that's something I really look for in my books these days. I want to have fun, I want to giggle, I want to be kicking my feet, and this one didn't do that in the latter half. But as I said, I liked the story, I liked the world building, I liked the writing. It was like lyrical in a way but not too wordy, so it really did work for me and I would be recommending this. I think it's a good standalone too. Typically standalones don't work for me as well either because I just wanted more, and I do feel like I wanted more from the story. I wanted more character depth. That's the other thing I really wanted from the story. I wanted side characters to have more of a presence. I find that I like when my stories have side characters and more of a found family aspect, versus this one we had a whole pirate ship of other pirates but we barely saw them, and I wanted to like interact with them more and have our main character have friendships and bonds with them as well. And because we're in the man's head as well, he's been on this pirate ship his whole life, so I wish we got to see his friendships a little bit more as well. It was very much about the two of them and their past and their story, which works for a lot of people, but I just like to see friendships and stuff like that in my stories as well. So yeah, that's one of the complaints I had, but I'm still giving it 3 stars. I really enjoyed it, and you know what, I had a great time at the Starfall Ball. We went with a black dress and all of my men were fated to love me, and we picked up a ginger, a white-haired man, and the Dark Knight, and I brought my weapon of found family with me. I think I had a great night. Drank a little too much fairy wine and had a good time. Still don't know my background. That's a secret I'll never tell, but that's fine. At least I didn't show up naked. And I had 3 men with me the entire time, so that's a win. If you would like to go on a Why Choose journey, I'll leave my Why Choose TBR on the screen for you. I'm also going to leave the announcement to Realmathon, which is a month-long readathon that I am hosting next month in March. And if you'd like to just leave me an emoji to say you were here, leave me an orange emoji. Not an orange the color, leave me like the orange the fruit emoji, and have yourselves an absolutely remarkable day. How do you feel about masked men? How do you feel about masked women?
I feel like they're probably trying to kill me or rob me.